Now is the time for Congress to act. Epstein was not alone. Several prominent male executives resigned from their powerful positions after this matter became widely politicized. Of course, this doesn't amount to guilt, but we still must work openly and transparently to uncover the truth. I call on Congress to provide the women who have been victimized by Epstein with a public hearing specifically centered around the survivors. Give these victims their opportunity to testify under oath in front of Congress with the power of sworn testimony. Each and every woman should have her day to tell her story in public if she wishes, and then her testimony should be permanently entered into the congressional record. Then, and only then, we will have the truth.
Breaking Jeffrey Epstein news. Melania Trump just did a speech from the White House distancing herself from Epstein and suggesting, I'm thinking, that there's a big story coming out and it's not a good story, and that's why she's getting ahead of it. She said she's never been a victim of Epstein, which makes me think somebody's alleging she's been a victim. There's a lot of lies about her. Again, there's a lie she's worried about. She said that she was never close with Epstein's accomplice, Ghislaine Maxwell, who found him the girls. She's in prison for 20 years. She said, I just had a casual correspondence by email with her. Donald and she did not know. She was not introduced to Donald by Epstein. Again, makes you think that's the allegation coming out. And she called for congressional hearings for Epstein's victims, which is a good thing. I think, because this makes no sense that the First Lady of the United States is doing this, the fact that she's doing it is making it a story. It's making me think, oh, is there a tie? I didn't know there was an allegation of one, which makes me think there's a story coming out. There's some story coming out. They're trying to get ahead of it. But wow, First Lady from the White House, the seal and the whole thing. Keep your eyes open. Follow me and share.
Melania Trump gave a press conference on what today? Out of an appointment, and Melania gave a press conference on the files today, on the big Jeffrey files. And she tried to distance herself, saying, no, I did not meet Donald through Jeffrey. And my correspondents were just simply cordial. Nothing. They weren't actually friends. She even was talking about she wants the survivors to testify to Congress under oath. Why today? Why bring that back to the surface? Is the Iran war going that bad that you have to go back to the files that we started the war to distract from the files, and now we're going back to that? Or does Iran actually have the files? Did they leak some of that? Like, oh yeah, by the way, we have this? It makes no sense. Iran, drop the files, baby, drop the files.
You know, sometimes when something happens that brings me joy, I feel like it's necessary to bring it up. I don't often comment on things like Melania's little press conference today. I like a story that I can pull a thread. This one might have a thread. We'll see what happens. But I am finding so much joy in going through my following on TikTok of all of the people talking about this, because I just like that she's in the hot seat. I'm so happy that Melania's in the hot seat. But here's some of the stuff that I am finding. I have my little journal here. Some of the things that I'm thinking about. So number one, it was an unscheduled press conference. Apparently, Trump did not know that this was going to happen. Okay, so her main 3 points were that she was not friends with Epstein or Maxwell. That was one thing she said. She also said that she met Trump at a party, she was not introduced by Epstein. Fine. I mean, okay, fine. That she is not in the FBI files, nor is she in any court documents. Okay, great. The thing to me is this. This is just renewed attention on the Epstein files and her husband, Trump, the pedo. Why now? Why would she do this now? That's my connective tissue. I think that somebody on her PR team panicked about something and they are trying to control a narrative at this point in time. Maybe a journalist is doing a big story and they called her office for comment. We'll know soon, I suppose. But one of the things that really hit me was that she framed herself as a victim, not a victim of Epstein's, but a victim of the situation of the Epstein files, the release of the files. she put herself in line with these people who have been working so hard to have their voices heard. And she, I guess, is the same amount of a narcissist as her husband is, which makes sense because how can you be married to that disgusting man and not also be a narcissist or a gold digger or whatever she is, whatever. I didn't like that part. Don't call yourself a victim in all of this. You're complicit. You're in there somewhere. We just don't know it yet. And if that email between her and Ghislaine Maxwell was innocuous, why bring more attention to it at this point? Why do it now? So I think that this is PR. I think that something's about to happen. I like some of the things that I'm seeing online right now. My following tab is bringing me so much happiness, kind of like my jasmine behind me that's blooming. Very happy to have this jasmine right now. It's helping my mood. It's also like, I think, 65 degrees here, which is unusual. My point is simply this. That bitch, something's happening, and I'm here for it. I like when the shit comes around. What goes around comes around, right? We'll see what happens. Anyway, y'all keep posting. I'm having a grand old time out here in my backyard, having a little cocktail, watching your videos. All right. Bye.
This is sarcastic, hilarious, it's paradox, it is wicked fun. I guess I need to call the Pope in here. We need to pray.
We have breaking news right now. Melania Trump, out of nowhere, just gave an address to the nation where she talked about Jeffrey Epstein and her lack of knowledge of Jeffrey Epstein's crimes, her lack of friendship with Epstein or Maxwell. Literally out of nowhere, this statement came. She demanded that Congress allow all of the survivors, if they want to testify under oath so that their testimony can go into the official congressional record and that all of them can have their day to tell their stories, because she says that Epstein did not act alone. I'm not making any of this up. I just watched a 7-minute statement from Melania Trump talk about Jeffrey Epstein. No one knew what she was going to talk about today. And then she came out demanding that Congress take action, saying that she had nothing to do with Jeffrey Epstein, wants people to stop talking about any relationship she had with Jeffrey Epstein or Ghislaine Maxwell, saying that essentially Epstein did not introduce Trump to her. Pretty crazy stuff. I'll have a full update on my Substack shortly, linked in bio, so subscribe for free. I'm getting a haircut right now, which is why I'm doing this right now. Follow along for more.
This post is for First Lady Melania Trump. If you are not the First Lady Melania Trump or her team that can send it to her, feel free to go away. I heard a clip of you saying that, the people who are telling lies about me and Epstein and how we were friends and this and that, you have no integrity, this and you don't have, they're so unethical. Ma'am, are you joking? Are you joking? You do not get to talk about ethics. You do not get to talk about unethical. You do not get to talk about any of that. I don't want to hear you talk about none of that, okay? None of it. None of it. And honestly, the fact that my feed is packed with clips of you is ridiculous. There are children in Iran being killed. There are children in Lebanon being massacred. 160 strikes in 10 minutes? Are you joking? And you chose to center yourself about, it's unethical of them to talk about me this way. No one cares. No one cares. Literally not a single fucking person in this country cares about your reputation, your legacy, your name, everything, your children, all of it has been tainted forever. We know who you are. We know who your husband is. We know what you're like. We've seen it all, okay? We do not give a flying crap that you feel like, they didn't portray you well. Are you joking? Are you joking? The only thing I want to hear from you is a plan on how you're going to stop your lunatic husband from unaliving my entire family in Iran. That's all I want to hear from you. That's all I want to hear. I want to hear that you have a plan to use whatever feminine wiles you have. I do not care. Do what you need to do. Stop this. Stop him.
Melania Trump held a press conference on Epstein? Hold the phone. So apparently she is so personally upset that she gave a surprise statement at the White House today to address the lies linking her to one Mr. J.E., notably having a relationship with him. For a woman who is notoriously silent on literally everything else, it begs the question, what is the meaning of this? Is she breaking from Donny Boy, or is she trying to get ahead of a bigger story? So she mentioned the survivors, but he's also started 2 wars now to cover up from the files, and now she wants the survivors to go in front of Congress and have a hearing. I'm sorry, why doesn't the DOJ do their job and actually interview claims and survivors? Why force these women to go in front of Congress, where Congress members are openly hostile towards women in general, but especially survivors of SA? What is her motive? Is she just personally that upset that her name is being brought up? Is she separating herself from her husband on this issue? I'm not trying to start any rumors, but on this issue? Or are they trying to get ahead of something that they can't stop the press from leaking? We'll find out.
In U.S. history, the First Lady typically never gives us an unscheduled speech. Usually there's a heads up, an idea of what's being said. Usually it's scheduled out as an interview. Not this time. And it surprised not only us, but also Donald Trump, with reports coming in that he had no idea that she was about to give this speech. In this surprise statement, she brought up Jeffrey Epstein, something that honestly had been falling out of the headlines over the past month because of the war in Iran. So why would the First Lady bring something up that hasn't been in the news in over a month? There's a ton of conspiracies and speculation on what could actually be happening here, leading to what everyone's number one guess is that more than likely some big report is going to be released on Friday, because we usually see things on Friday, and she's trying to get in front of it. Makes things even more confusing. Supposedly, a spokesperson for the First Lady initially told the New York Times that the president knew that his wife was planning to make that statement. Well, that comment changed later on, saying that it was not clear if Mr. Trump was aware of the topic of her remarks, which is why when he did an interview with MS Now, the host reportedly had spoken to Trump and told her that, well, he didn't know anything about it. But the grand question is, why do you think she made this speech today? Let me know in the comment section below. I'll be sure to keep you updated, so please do share my videos and follow me for more.
So this just came as a surprise. The First Lady just took to the podium here at the White House to deny forcefully that she ever had any kind of relationship with Jeffrey Epstein, saying that she came to defend herself against people who are trying to smear her, quote, good name. Now, it's not clear what smears specifically she's referring to or why she decided to speak out about this right now. Here's what we do know. Melania Trump was photographed back in the early 2000s alongside Trump, Epstein, and his accomplice, Ghislaine Maxwell. And the Justice Department's Epstein Files do include some email exchanges between the First Lady and Maxwell. But the First Lady insists she was never friends with Epstein, and she was emphatic that he did not introduce her to the president and that she did not know of any of Epstein's crimes. But this all came really out of the blue. This White House has been very eager and trying to turn the page on all of this and move past this. In fact, the acting attorney general just last week said that as far as the Justice Department is concerned, this is case closed. But yet here we have the First Lady today coming out before the cameras and calling for Epstein's victims to be allowed to tell their side of the story publicly and testify before Congress.
So we need to talk about Melania Trump, okay? And don't laugh, because I know y'all be laughing at my little news updates, but today she had a press conference. And she had a press conference, and in the press conference, she pretty much is just letting it be known that she didn't have a personal relationship with Jeffrey Epstein. It felt like she was trying to clear her name. She doesn't want to be pegged or connected to anything that he had going on. There are emails of her emailing Maxwell. But obviously she did know them, but she's trying to just clear her name and make it clear that the relationship wasn't that deep. And I'm wondering now, I'm thinking, what was the point of this, right? Because for the longest, they have been wanting to dead this Jeffrey Epstein topic, right? Like they don't want to talk about it. A lot of people suspect that this is why the war even started, was because they wanted to put that to bed and they needed something else to, take over the headlines. So, I think that I wonder, what was the point of her having this press conference? Is she just sick of her husband and she's just ready to just, tell it all? Is there a strategy with this? What is the point? Because it definitely felt like it came out of left field. And yeah, it just seems sort of strategic. And then also she was reading her statement the entire time. You know, I just feel like when you are talking to the public, especially if you're just like, hey, I don't have anything to do with Jeffrey, it just comes off way more authentic and real if you're just having a conversation and you're not reading it. I don't know. Let me know what you guys think. Do you guys feel like something is coming down the pipeline? Is she trying to get ahead of something? Or is she just sick and tired of Trump at this point? So I don't know. I don't know what to think of this. So let me know.
Holy shit. Melania Trump just made a statement denying any ties to Jeffrey Epstein. Let's talk about it. For years, and mainly lately, claims have been circulating online about Melania's ties to Epstein. From she was a victim of Epstein, to she and Epstein were in a romantic relationship, to she met Trump through Epstein, to she was really close to Ghislaine Maxwell. In the Epstein Files, there are some photos of them together and a 2002 email exchange with Ghislaine Maxwell, where Melania signed off, "Love Melania," which of course fueled speculation of a closer relationship. The truth is simple. Their social circles overlapped in New York and Palm Beach, and the Trumps attended some of the same parties as Epstein. Most of the images circulating around about Melania have already been proven fake, and none of it has been substantiated in court. However, you know those crazy Dems, they believe every negative headline and then repost the misinformation for all of their friends and family to read and repost. Well, Melania has had enough. She just delivered a rare, unscheduled statement with no advance notice and no topic announced. She stepped up to the podium like a boss and addressed the rumors head on. In her statement, Melania said, quote, "The lies linking me with the disgraceful Jeffrey Epstein need to end today. The individuals lying about me are devoid of ethical standards. I have never been friends with Epstein. Donald and I were invited to the same parties from time to time. To be clear, I've never had a relationship with Epstein or his accomplice Maxwell. My email reply was casual correspondence only. I'm not Epstein's victim. Epstein did not introduce me to Donald Trump. I've never had any knowledge of Epstein's abuse of his victims." The most shocking part was that she called on Congress to hold hearings so survivors can testify under oath. She wants all of their stories to be heard and is calling to give them a platform in order to do so. Shortly after, Rep. Robert Garcia, a top Democrat on the House Oversight Committee, agreed with her call for Epstein survivor hearings and urged immediate scheduling. Other Democrats echoed in support. And GOP Rep. Tim Burchett said, quote, "Looking forward to working with the First Lady on this important issue." What did Trump have to say about it? He said he didn't know anything about her statement. Quote, "She didn't know him." No other comments were reported, and no, he didn't seem upset about it. I'm sorry, but if Trump was involved, why would she do that? Todd Blanche, who recently replaced Pam Bondi, already said that the Epstein saga is over and they're going to move on. Why would Trump's wife, of all people, bring it up again? And not only that, but give any victim the platform to tell their story. The Dems are saying, Trump bombed Iran to distract from the Epstein Files. If that's true, why is his own wife forcing the topic back into the spotlight? We've been telling you guys for years that Trump isn't involved. How do you explain this one? Follow for updates and let me know what you think in the comments.
Wait a minute. Time out. Melania, you didn't know anything about Epstein. Is that what you're saying? As a matter of fact, let me make sure I have this clear. Epstein didn't introduce you to Donald Trump? Is that what you're saying? I want to make sure I have that right. Epstein didn't introduce the two of you? And you knew nothing about what he was doing, right? All those years, all those conversations, all those get-togethers, and you knew nothing. Really? Wow. I don't even know what to say to this. I don't even know wow is all I can say. I'll just leave it at that. But yeah, you coming out saying you knew nothing. Wow.
So can anybody tell me why the hell Melania Trump just randomly decided that she's gonna make an address to the nation about if she was friends with Jeffrey Epstein or not? And of course, she said that she had, no friendship with Jeffrey Epstein. She knew nothing of his crimes. Same for Maxwell. But this should have happened like months ago. I mean, did she need that long to practice her speech? It's been months, Melania. So the only other conclusion I can come to is that we're about to find something out very, very soon. And what's the best thing to do in a situation like that but to get ahead of it? So to me, it seems like she's trying to get ahead of it. Or is this supposed to be a distraction of what's going on with Iran? Because we've all been on top of those Lego videos. All I can say is make sure you keep an eye on international news this weekend and upcoming new week, because I think we're about to have a new Epstein drop and Melania is going to be involved. But as always, let me know what you guys think in the comments. Is this Melania trying to get ahead of something, or is this just another distraction? Let me know.
Melania Trump, out of nowhere, comes out and denies ties with Jeffrey Epstein and Ghislaine Maxwell. She also says that she thinks their victims should be able to testify in front of Congress. Now, my question is, why did she take so long to say anything? Is she just finding out about this? Let me guess, in 2 years, she's going to condemn the war in Iran. She's going to be like, I didn't know we bombed Iran. I was getting pedicure.
The investigation into Jeffrey Epstein, the fight to release the Epstein Files, and even the effort to get justice for those survivors just took a wild turn.
I call on Congress to provide the women who have been victimized by Epstein with a public hearing specifically centered around the survivors. Give these victims their opportunity to testify under oath in front of Congress with the power of sworn testimony. Each and every woman should have her day to tell her story in public if she wishes, and then her testimony should be permanently entered into the congressional record. Then, and only then, we will have the truth.
That was obviously First Lady Melania Trump just a short time ago from the White House, calling on Republicans who control Congress to give the Epstein survivors a congressional public hearing so they can openly tell their stories under oath. Now, what's so striking about this is the First Lady's comments are in direct contrast to what the Trump administration and her husband and the Republican-controlled Congress have been doing. And interestingly enough, this announcement from the First Lady comes less than a week after Pam Bondi was fired from her job as Attorney General, and just one day after the Trump Department of Justice announced that Bondi would not testify about her handling or mishandling of the Epstein files. And the Republican chairman of the House Oversight Committee tasked with handling all this Epstein stuff has openly talked about how he doesn't think it's necessary that Pam Bondi testify. Of course, the Department of Justice, which is under the full control of Melania's husband, President Donald Trump, to this day still has only released half of the actual Epstein files and have redacted names that probably should be public, which is in direct violation of the Epstein Files Transparency Act. On top of that, Epstein survivors have been saying publicly for months that the Trump DOJ has not even contacted them. Now, it is unclear why the First Lady decided to make this statement today, but it's clear she's upset about several things. One is that she disputes this narrative that Epstein introduced her to her now husband.
I am not Epstein's victim. Epstein did not introduce me to Donald Trump. I met my husband by chance at the New York City party in 1998. This initial encounter with my husband is documented in detail in my book, Melania.
The problem is this document exists. It is a 302 form in the Epstein files. So 302 form is a form filled out by the FBI who conducts a witness interview. And in this case, it is with a person whose name is redacted. So we assume that this person is a victim. And this person in this 302 form says she was a model who was working for Epstein. And on page 2, this person says Epstein introduced Melania Trump to Donald Trump. Now, it's unclear how this person knew that or whether that is actually accurate or just a recollection. We just don't know. But the fact is, this document exists. The First Lady also appears to be upset that she is being linked to Epstein through images and stories, especially online.
Numerous fake images and statements about Epstein and me have been circulating on social media for years now. Be cautious about what you believe. These images and stories are completely false. My name has never appeared in court documents, depositions, victim statements, or FBI interviews surrounding the Epstein matter. I have never had any knowledge of Epstein abuse of his victims. I was never involved in any capacity. I was not a participant, was never on Epstein's plane, and never visited his private island. I have never been legally accused or convinced of a crime in connection with Epstein's sex trafficking, abuse of minors, and other repulsive behavior.
The First Lady even addressed this email, which is also in the Epstein Files, between herself and Epstein co-conspirator Ghislaine Maxwell.
My email reply to Maxwell cannot be categorized as anything more than casual correspondence. My polite reply to her email doesn't amount to anything more than a trivial note.
Mrs. Trump also issued a warning to anyone who publicly tries to tie her to Jeffrey Epstein.
The false smears about me from mean-spirited and politically motivated individuals and entities looking to cause damage to my good name, to gain financially and climb politically, must stop. My attorneys and I have fought these unfounded and baseless lies with success and will continue to maintain my sound reputation without hesitation. I met my husband by chance at a New York City party in 1998. This initial encounter with my husband is documented in detail in my book, Melania. The first time I crossed paths with Epstein was in the year 2000 at an event Donald and I attended together. At the time, I had never met Epstein and had no knowledge of his criminal undertakings. Numerous fake images and statements about Epstein and me have been circulating on social media for years now. Be cautious about what you believe. These images and stories are completely false.
Who said she was? Can we talk about Melania Trump coming out and giving a huge press briefing, talking about she's not a victim of Jeffrey Epstein? Did I miss something? Who said you were? Drop in the comments below, because I don't remember her name being in the Epstein Files as a victim. I know there was discussion and talks about maybe that's how Trump met her, that Epstein put her in contact with Trump, but not a victim. There are victims out there, and that's who we're concerned about. We're concerned about the victims. We are concerned, and we want the men prosecuted who did these heinous acts, including your husband, who is our sitting president. That's what we're concerned about. I'm glad you're not a victim. Why don't you do something for them instead of saying, I'm not a victim? I'm so confused. What's going on? But thank you for bringing Jeffrey Epstein, back to the forefront. Thank you for talking about it, because that's why this whole war started anyway.
Are we looking at the big, beautiful divorce? No, I don't think so. At least not before he leaves office. Notice how I didn't say when his term was up. She's reportedly renegotiated her prenup multiple times, and his health, as we know, is better than anyone has ever seen before in any human that's ever lived. And why would she leave someone that healthy? But she's clearly trying to distance from Donald, who said he didn't even know what she'd been talking about. Whether you believe that or not, or you believe that she was telling the truth today or not, listen to what she said. She had never been to the island. She had no knowledge of the abuse to his victims. She was never a participant. You notice she didn't say we had never been to the island. We had no knowledge of the abuse of his victims. We were never participants. I don't believe for 1 second that she just woke up today and decided that she was tired of the lies and needed to clear her name and to tell people the truth. This is clearly because either something is going to drop or because of the Michael Wolff lawsuit or the Paolo Zampoli issue. There's a motive here, and regardless of what you think the truth is, her language speaks volumes.
The reason why Melania Trump gave a speech today about Jeffrey Epstein is so she can cover her own ass whenever this next crazy ass insane scandal involving the Epstein Files comes out. Because there's just no way that she randomly decided to do this. Like, something big and crazy is probably going to drop in the next couple of days, and that's why she did this. Or the war on Iran is getting so fucking bad that Trump's administration needs to distract with the Epstein Files. Like, those are the only two options that's going on here, and yeah, I guess we're just gonna have to wait and see, but this is fucking insane, and that is the reason why she did this. You cannot convince me otherwise.
The lies linking me with the disgraceful Jeffrey Epstein need to end today.
That was Melania's press conference moments ago. These are actual photos of Melania Trump and Jeffrey Epstein. Not once during her press conference did she call for the release of the Epstein files. Instead, she played the victim and said this.
So Melania Trump just held an utterly bizarre official press conference where she wanted to tell everybody to stop linking her to Jeffrey Epstein. That just because there are a bunch of photos of her with Jeffrey Epstein and Ghislaine Maxwell, and just because there's email correspondence between Ghislaine Maxwell and Melania Trump, that doesn't mean that they had any ties. I'm serious, this just happened. I'll play you a clip in just a second. But apparently Melania Trump has not heard of the Streisand effect. I mean, a lot more people are going to be speaking about this right now. And she even used this event today to plug her book. By the way, just for the record, here's one of the many photos of Melania Trump pictured with Jeffrey Epstein and Ghislaine Maxwell. And here's an email from Melania Trump to Ghislaine Maxwell where she said, "Dear G," a nickname. "Dear G, how are you? Nice story about J.E., Jeffrey Epstein in New York Mag. You look great on the picture. I know you are very busy flying all over the world. How was Palm Beach? I cannot wait to go down. Give me a call when you are back in New York. Have a great time. Love, Melania." To which Ghislaine responded, "Sweet pea, thanks for your message. Actually, plans changed again, and I am now on my way back to New York. I leave again on Friday, so I still do not think I have time to see you, sadly. I will try and call, though. Keep well." Let me play this clip for you, and as a reminder, we've been doing a ton of coverage on the Epstein Files and on Melania's connections to Jeffrey Epstein on the Midas Touch podcast, so make sure you're subscribed today anywhere you listen to podcasts. Here's a clip.
The lies linking me with the disgraceful Jeffrey Epstein need to end today. The individuals lying about me are devoid of ethical standards, humility, and respect. I do not object to their ignorance, but rather I reject their mean-spirited attempts to defame my reputation. I never been friends with Epstein. Donald and I were invited to the same parties as Epstein from time to time, since overlapping in social circles is common in New York City and Palm Beach. To be clear, I never had a relationship with Epstein or his accomplice, Maxwell. My email reply to Maxwell cannot be categorized as anything more than casual correspondence. My polite reply to her email doesn't amount to anything more than a trivial note. I am not Epstein's victim. Epstein did not introduce me to Donald Trump. I met my husband by chance at a New York City party in 1998. This initial encounter with my husband is documented in detail in my book, Melania.
Thank you for watching Great Minds Blacks.